Hey, John here again. Today I got left a present, or yesterday actually, uh, a request to put this starter back together, and they don't know if it works or not. Well, when he starts the machine, it goes to a snowblower or something. When he starts the machine, it just gives a little bump, but it doesn't work. So this person decided to take the starter apart and couldn't figure out how to get it back together, so he left me a little present, and here's what we got. The reason I want to make a video is, well, first of all, I went ahead and cleaned everything up. It was full of, carbon or whatever gets in there. A lot of times there's just gunk in there. Sometimes water gets in there, especially a snowblower. And it's just normally something you just clean up, and they work. You can get brush kits for certain models. But what I found is usually not the brushes. I mean, these look pretty good, but as far as a kit to get new brushes, it's not really what I want to go over. Like I said, I just clean this up, clean these, whatever you call that, the armature, and I forgot, escaped me what that's called, that piece here, the communicator or some shit like that. But anyways, not worried about this. I don't see any broken wires or anything. So the point is, I don't know if this starter works or not. I would have, if I had it whole, I would have put some 12 volts on it, see if it worked from the get-go. But I just cleaned a lot of this stuff up. And what I wanted to go over here is how you put, oops, this drops out. How you put these springs back in with a, without a tool. I don't know if they make a tool, but a lot of these are, let me put this down. A lot of these are not a problem. This little ring here has these springs, they're spring loaded, so you could put them in with something like this where the end cap, if you could put this end cap on last, then I would load this up with the springs and hold them in by wire, whatever I needed to do. Maybe put a socket in here. I've done that before. And then put this this magnet back over here, and then you would put your loaded up spring and brushes over this, and then you could put your end cap on. But unfortunately, this is off an old Briggs. This is a Briggs starter. Unfortunately, I can't do that because the way this one operates is, you'll see these two little screws here. You have to put this booger together, and I'm not sure which way this goes, but I'll figure that out. You have to put this together in a way that, these screw down, and I'll have to figure out the orientation or what's positive, what's negative. But when you screw these down, and these are on springs, you got to keep that thing loaded while you put everything together, and you just can't. This is the last piece to go on, so it's got to remain in there, and a guy couldn't figure it out. And I've done a few different techniques, but on this particular one, because the end cap, you can't get access. Like I said, if I could load this up and put this on last, it would be no problem. But because this screws down to the end cap, you got to put it on first, and now there's no way to get in there. So let me go over a method I've used before and see if it'll work this time. And maybe that'll help somebody out. So let me get this set up a little bit. If I could do this now, I guess. So this piece here is a ground strap. I mean, I've got this in pieces, so I'm just fitting things together the best way I know how, but it probably only is going to go together one way. And I see there's a tab there, so that's probably what this, on the electric start part, is going to plug into. I'll figure that in a second. But I noticed there's a black wire and a white wire, also color coded here, white and black, so I'm assuming positive ground. And there's a couple of spring washers here. I'll figure out where they go. I'm assuming probably when you screw it down here, I'll figure that out. But so for right now, I just want to see if I can orientate this. There's only one end. This is obviously where this thing is going to sit into. So because they're already kind of bent, I could probably figure this out no problem. So it looks like this contact is going to go here, and that one here. So positives over there, negatives here. As long as I get one of them to go opposite each other, so it's not going to be a big deal. So then in this case, because the alignment is this way, I would assume this goes in like this. It can only go one way, really. I could do it 180 out, but I think the pattern will be the same either way. Oh, and I found, where was it? I don't know where it is now. I found a piece of plastic in here. It looks like this guy here, so maybe that was the problem with the starter wasn't working. Maybe that stem broke off and, you know, somehow was locking it up. I don't know, but I did clean everything up, front and part in here. So in this particular case, if the cord goes here, if I had to put this in first, if the cord goes here, yeah, it looks like it'll snap under there. I gotta figure that out, but let's try to put that in where we can. Make sure if it goes this way, or this way. I'm assuming sideways. Although this negative terminal would be over here, like so. So maybe it does go in sideways like this. Yeah, it fits in there good that way. So that looks like a good fit that way. But and it does look like this is going to marry up there, and this one will sit. I don't know if I'm filming because I can't see nothing, but this one will sit in here. Actually, I'll put that in now. It's just a ground strap. It looks like it's going to belong there because these these rusty screws that'll be you know, mounted to the ground, you know, to the body of the frame of the whatever goes on the snowblower. So the next move I would do is, since how that's going to be positive, I would screw that down like that. Actually, put that on top of that. Screw that down like that. Let's see. Not sure if this spring would go down first. Probably. That contact's pretty big. This would probably go next. And this booger would go inside. So I didn't really feel like doing this on a Sunday, but, and you know, it's not like there's any hurry. I think it was a pull out a 1/4 inch because this is an old school. I don't think it's meant to be as 1/4 inch. You know, it's not like it's going to be snowing, so I guess I think he wants to sell this without a starter. I mean, I don't know. I never use an electric starter anyway. You know, the kind that you have to plug into a house. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. And who knows? Maybe the problem with the starter is in here. I don't even know. I didn't get a chance to do anything with it, but I'll put it back together for him, and I'll show you how we can do these springs alternately. So, and my next move would be put the negatives in, or put this spring washer in first. Then I would put, these springs seem to be attached. I would put, let's see, how could I do this? Probably something like, this would probably sneak under here. It looks all bent up like it was in place, so maybe put this one around the back side. I know you can't see what's going on here, but doing the best I can. I'll show you in a second, but see if I can get that in there. It feels like this is where it belongs as far as the bending of the wires goes. I'm not really manipulating too much. It's kind of falling in place, so I'm just kind of going with that feel type of thing. And see if I can get this screw in there. Let me see if I can force that in there. Yep. Alright, that seems to be going in alright. Alright, let me tighten these down. I believe they're in the position they're going to be in. And it's just metal screws going into plastic, so don't get all nuts with them. You know, just kind of till they seat. So that's what we got so far. Basically, these brushes, some have springs that are stuck on there, some don't. But all right, so this guy, and I don't know how good this lighting is. This guy will go here with a spring, it looks like. You know, tuck into here. And now I'm doing these two without springs. So it'd be nice if they didn't have springs. And you can just tuck them in like so, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Just putting them here temporarily without the springs, just to give you an idea. Now this one with a spring, they all are going to have springs on them, but the springs didn't come off of these. So see, now you can't really put that guy in there. You know, it's just going to pop back out. And you can hold the one down, but you can't hold all four, and you can't even hold the one down because, as I said, once this housing is on the armature here, there's going to be no room, absolutely no room for that collar there to get inside there. So you're going to have to secure them somehow. And again, I don't know if there's a tool they make for this. I always do it kind of one way. It doesn't matter what type it is. Even if the end cap comes on, I still use, I already cut a piece. I use welding wire. If you got anything that's thin, pretty rigid, it'll work. I've actually used for different types of starters that I mess with the wire doesn't have to be that long, and you've probably seen me use this before for certain things, cleaning little carb, poking, you know, through the high jet stream, you know, whatever. This kind of wire works good. It's pretty rigid, and after you unwind it, it's pretty long. But I think the welding wire for this application is going to do a little better because the way I'm going to manipulate it, it's going to be, you know, easier with a longer wire. And maybe these springs apart. All right, so let me put these springs on the ones that don't have springs. And anytime you're messing with these, just follow the wires. I mean, the blacks have to be opposite each other, and the whites have to be, you know, opposite. The negatives and positives have to be opposite of each other. However, it's orientated, but as you can see, this ground strap comes in here. So now we just got one here, and we're going to have one over here. That's the two negatives, and these don't have springs on them yet, so pop the spring on. Get these started. This is probably one of the more difficult ones that I've done or gonna do, but I know I remember doing one like this before. It is problematic because you got to have all this stuff set up prior to. So that will go in there. And again, you can't squish them all at the same time. You know, you just can't get your big hands in there. So this one, I'll put the spring on this one, and I'll show you the end result of what I'm going to do with this wire. But come on, get on there. And that one will go on this little doorway here. So we'll just get it started in there. Alright, so basically you got a mess there. All these plug in each other, but see how they're all sprung out. So what I'm going to do is basically this. I'm going to start this wire. What I'm going to do, one at a time, again, I hope this is coming on the video, I'm going to scooch this this spring in. I might have to relocate this on the other side. I don't know, maybe it'll stay there. But so I'm just going to grab this wire like so. Kind of get what I'm going for here. So this is, yeah, I'm going to have to relocate this on the other side because it's pulling on it. Let me just do that right quick. Put it underneath it. If it's not underneath it, then it's just going to, let's see. Put it underneath it. I mean, the only reason, you know, to rebuild these things is these goddamn things are so expensive. Not rebuild them per se, but clean them up, and they generally work. as opposed to just getting a new one, because it's not a $30 item. They're pretty pricey. They're like $100. So anyway, so now I can grab this wire with the spring on it, right? And this first one I'll probably just do a couple of twists just to keep that from unlocking. Then I'm gonna see how it's holding that spring in there. Get my hand out of there. So I'm gonna wrap it around this side, right? I'm gonna put this spring in here, this black one, and it's possible I might be able to do this right now on camera. See what happens. Alright, I don't like the way that black one again is riding on that white one, so I'll put that over it. Do these last. Do the white ones last. Now I'm gonna put this spring in here with this brush. Again, these brushes seem fine. I'll say with tension on it. Now I'm gonna grab this black wire that I just put in there. It's kind of tough to do, but you'll see. Get off of there. You'll see what I'm talking about. I just want to get that threaded through there. Alright. So now that I got this one, I got tension on the other one. I mean, you ain't got to go all, like I said, all bananas with it. So now that one's held in, right? And I want to get it down a little more because it's pulling on the top of that wire. I don't want that. I just want to pull on the edge of that wire under the jacket just ever so slightly to keep it in. So now two of them are in, yeah? And this wire is, you see what I got going on there, it's just wrapped around. Now the next one I'm going to do, again, I could probably just, and that's probably what I'll do, is just, I'll just secure this, cut this, and then do the white ones. And let me do that to save some time here. I'll shut the camera off. I'll put the white one back on, and then you'll see what I'm talking about, how it's going to keep it there, just temporarily. So I'll be back in a second when I got it two in. All I'm doing is putting a, just a little bit of a twist on the wire just to tighten it up. Don't get all crazy, like I said, because you'll break the wire, but just a little bit of a twist, just to tighten it up. Clamp it together. The welding wire works good because it's pretty resilient. So now all my brushes are in. Let's try this again. Once again, make sure that the wires aren't touching. There we go. Alright, I think I'm past my brushes. Pretty sure. Okay, take 3. Alright, so this notch, I had this, this cup was on backwards. This notch, for me, needed to marry up to the notch here. I had this, this damn thing was on backwards, so when I put it together, there was no notch. So, took everything apart, spun it around. Alright, so here's where I left off. This is, as you can see, the wires are holding back the springs, as I showed the first time. First time didn't work because, as I put the cap on, I think I already discussed this, I didn't have a notch to plug it into, because I had this upside down. I had this piece upside down. Again, I don't even know if this camera's actually showing anything. Alright, so everything's cleaned up. I do want to put a smidge of oil on this end of the armature here. It did seem like I had a problem going in there. Alright, so let's try this again. So it looks like my wires, I think this plastic post, I don't know if you can see it, this plastic post here, right here, this one's missing, and it was just laying in there. So I think these are probably just to keep wires on this side from your armature. So There is no plastic post here. I mean, when I cut these wires, I'll try to pull this, slip in here with this pick, pull these wires closer to the side here just to keep it away from that armature. But here we go, take 3. Let's see if we can get this in here this time. Alright, so we're at where we were before. There's my notch. I'm confident that those brushes are, they're going to be fine. Before I plug this in, of course, we got to cut the wires. Don't cut them too short, just cut one at a time. Bend that sucker so you can pull it out. The last thing you need is that wire breaking off, sliding down in there. You have to take it apart and do it again. Alright, so there's that side. I think it's still got a twist in there. That's what the holdup is. Should be untwisted now. Yeah. Alright. So that's number 3. Flip over here. I don't think it is, but it ain't coming out. Seriously? Last one? Gonna give you this problem? Oh, there it goes. Alright, so where's my notch? There's my notch. So this sucker should plug in there. There we go. Now, she's all plugged in. Now the only thing to orientate this plate with the bolt there, we'll bolt that up. See if this move. Oh crap! I wanted to get that. Let me pop this out a little bit, just a little bit. Be sure not to come off the end there. I want to make sure I can pull them wires back just so. And it doesn't appear like they're impeding. As close as the wall as I can get them. Because that stem is broke, that's the only thing that concerns me, but it does look like they're clear. Worst case scenario, they'll get wrapped up in there and break, right? Alright, so there's that. Alright, so I'm just going to put these bolts back in. Probably clean these up a little bit on the grinder. And put these bolts back in and alright, so I had to step away again, but so we're tightening these down, just plastic, so you don't have to torque them. And I don't really like this design with the bolts on the outside, especially on a snowblower. It's getting wet and stuff, or I don't know if it's under a cover or not, but a lot of times these have a spring on them. I don't see a spring on this, but this is old. I'm assuming centrifugal force just sends that sucker out there, and then when you push the button, it goes out. When you let go, I'm assuming it just kind of comes back down on its own. It does feel a little loose, but that's not why it's here. It came in pieces. 120 volts. All right, so let me get a plug here. See if this bugger works. The little cord I got is this big old wonker. I had to hold that, I'm sure. Jump out of its. Alright, here we go. Testing. This is AC, so you gotta kind of be careful here. Yep, no problem. The light's down. Okay, that's all she wrote. The camera battery died, so I'll just finish this up with saying that the actual video is longer than I expected. But I just wanted to show how maybe to get some brushes back in. 5-minute video just turned into a little longer. But that's it. I've used that method quite a few times, and this is probably one of the harder ones to redo the brushes or reinstall them. For the most part, it's pretty simple when you can get the end cap off and you can see your ring and brushes. It's way simpler, but there you have it. Hope that can help somebody out there. Bye.